ready.
Right?
Wait,
Are you ready? It's been a while.
Oh, we're live.
It's now or never.
Are we?
Sweet.
Yep.
Are we actually live? You serious?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know for sure. I thought he was messing with me
No.
because it still says 2:59 on that. You should get. Oh. Okay. Break the third wall here. All right. Welcome back to Labs Live. It's been a while since we've been on air, right? We had a little Thanksgiving break. How y'all have a good Thanksgiving?
Oh, yeah. I had 2 Thanksgivings,
Yeah.
sort of. One on Thursday and one on Friday. Like an American one on Thursday and then a Nigerian food one on Friday. It was awesome.
Aren't they all food ones?
They are, but American food, Nigerian food.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. All right.
Different.
Mary,
I
how
had a
was-
good Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people. We made 3 turkeys.
A lot of birds
a
died in this
fried
cause.
one, a smoked one, and a baked one.
Oh.
Delicious.
The
Okay.
fried, I would recommend.
Yeah.
Tasted like KFC.
Toby, you're supposed to freeze the bird, put it into the fryer. Just FYI for when you're
You're
doing that.
messing with me, right?
Anyways, only a little bit. Anyways, before we get going, don't forget, if you're watching this and you have not subscribed, please do so. Also, hit the little bell icon because when we go live like this, you get a notification and you don't want to miss out on that. A reminder that the show will be available after, so let your friends know or just people you're acquainted with. And also, there is a little chat room because it's live. We always enjoy when questions come in, right?
Yes.
We've never had one, but
We've
I
had
look
we've
forward
had
to
a
the
few.
moment
I'd
it
love
happens.
a question.
You
I
have a
want to
que-
be on the first one with a question.
Okay, well, so if you have a question for Mary, Mary would like a question.
She
Can
has
be
a lot
anything.
of fans.
Can be anything.
I
So
do. I have fans.
today's guest, kind of like a co-host, is Mary Emerine. I got
Hello.
it, didn't I?
Hey, you did.
I did.
You did.
If you were wondering, that is Mary. She's from our business development team. We have a little bit of a different format today, a little bit more of a round table. So we're going to be
Rectangular
talking.
table.
What?
Rectangular table, but go on.
Semantics.
We're the view of Detroit Labs.
Oh,
Right.
Okay.
Anyways, that was not a very good joke. Anyways, with this different format, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking back at 2019 and talking about some of the trends that we heard from potential clients, sales leads, and current clients. And then looking forward to 2020 as we kind of wrap up this, not even kind of, as we wrap up this year. And it'll be a little round table, square table, rectangle table. Anyways, 2019, it's been a busy year, and we're coming to, I wouldn't say a slow end. It's a very fast end right now. And I think, in both talking to you two both being on the business development team, and obviously I'm involved to some extent, but sometimes it's outside looking in. It seemed that the year began very strong on the website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It started with a lot of web for a few months, and then we started getting native mobile again. But one thing that was consistent that most companies now have apps across all platforms. It's web, Android, iOS, sometimes even watch.
Yeah, and that introduces complexity because you want to have a great experience across them. And obviously design and front-end development certainly is a big piece of that, but apps need services. They need data to be able to function, right? They need things like authentication, right? And so trying to make sure that all of those front-end applications have a consistent experience, a consistent data pipeline is important, and something that we saw was quite honestly missing.
Yes.
And so we invested time, dollars, energy this year into our own cloud platform.
Yeah. And so our cloud platform, initially we started the year, was building out like a middleware service application framework that would abstract a lot of the boiler code that you write when building front-end apps, and also kind of add modules with integration with third-party services. And that process have kind of even evolved now. We've gone even deeper into the layer, like going into the cloud infrastructure as well, working with technologies like Kubernetes and trying to build scalable, secure apps that scale globally very quickly. And that has given us a lot of flexibility that we're able to quickly like spin up services like push and authentication. And now, like, one of the problems before was even beyond the experience being seamless across all platforms was that sometimes services are not mobile ready, and there's just some practices and standards that now our service application framework provide APIs that mobile devs can easily consume and not do a lot of like logic on the actual front end apps.
The other thing that's encouraging, you mentioned flexibility, and building a cloud platform really does provide you with endless flexibility. So much so that over the course of 2019, we've had a lot of conversations with restaurants,
Yes.
pizza places, coffee places, and then also cannabis places, right? And at the end of the day, they all need one thing: ordering technology.
Yeah.
They are trying to sell you something, and you are trying to buy something from them. And so there are a lot of players out there, subscription model players that you can go out, SaaS services that you can buy. But we have a ton of experience in quick serve restaurants.
Right.
We've had a couple very large clients, and we've cut our teeth on that. And so now we're taking that cloud platform and we're adapting it for an ordering platform.
For an ordering. And we, as you said, like our experience has given us a lot of this gotchas that when you're building these ordering services, you might not even like consider. Like for example, for like pizza, like knowing that you could, half of it could be one type of topping and the other one could be another type of.
Or some locations may not even have a specific topping.
Exactly.
Right. Your favorite topping what's your favorite topping?
Mushrooms.
Pineapple.
Oh, mushrooms. Oh, actually I like both.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
pineapple's a heated debate, but
I like pineapple.
Yeah,
It's a good one.
Okay,
I just had Thai food with pineapple in it.
that's weird.
Delicious.
Okay.
But I've already talked to a lot of potential clients for, regarding this ordering platform, and the feedback has been tremendous because it's a way that you can get something out quickly, more cost effective, especially for companies that are just maybe that don't have an app yet. So it's been a really nice thing to talk about, and nice thing to offer.
Yeah.
And it seems like, obviously products like this already exist.
Sure.
And so it seems like maybe either there's frustration with those products, or I don't know, maybe it's pricing, maybe it's experience. But I think what's happening is they're viewing us from a design lens first.
Right.
They're saying, look at the products that Detroit Labs has worked on that's in the marketplace. We look at that with like aspirations of being a beautiful product like that. And then when we come back and say, you know what, you can have that plus be on an ordering platform versus a very large scale build out, it seems to be, I don't know, sparking a lot of interest.
Yeah, and having it built on like a solid like foundation and not just pissing around random stuff, because we've built this thing like a lot of times, so giving us so much experience that when we're building out from scratch now, we had a lot of learnings that we can just incorporate into the process.
And it can still be customized too.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. So App Store came out in 2008. It's 2019, right? It's been a bit. And early on when we started Detroit Labs, it was all about getting an app in the App Store. A lot of companies came to us and they were trying to get something built, trying to compete with somebody else. So and so had an app, we need an app. That doesn't happen anymore. A lot of folks, they have great web platforms. They have apps that are in the App Store. And now what we're seeing is the goal of redesign, rethink, rebuild. And there's a number of reasons why we're thinking this. I know some of it's technology, right?
Some of it is that Apple and Android, since apps came out, they've brought in a lot of improvements, like dark mode. And
whole new languages too.
Whole
though,
new
right?
languages, whole new ways of doing things. I think like a while ago, Google released like material design, like way newer things. So like a lot of these existing apps are incorporating these new user experiences, and even things like voice being first-class citizens now. So a lot of work is going into redesigning, but also at the same time, user expectations of what apps should do have like are through the roof now. So like there's an expectation in the marketplace for your apps to provide some features. So we have a lot of existing clients trying to meet those expectations, but also not just like one size fits all, being very specific to your customer base and creating like a very custom experience for them.
We were talking before this about every so often B2B opportunities come our way. Even the B2B apps need to look like business to consumer apps, right? Like we're using some wonderful apps every day. If you're in Instagram every single day, it's a pretty good experience. It's pretty top notch. It feels good, right? And so when you go and use your app inside your company somewhere and it doesn't feel as intuitive, easy to understand as an Instagram, it's frustrating as a user. Even if you have to use that app, right?
It creates friction. And if you want the organization to easily adopt like an app, you want, like as a company, you want the employees to use an app, it has to meet the expectations of the app they use on a regular basis. If not, that friction might affect the user retention of the app or the employee retention of the app.
Right. We've had more and more customers this year come to us for a B2B type of application. So it's something that I imagine are going to continue to see for next year too.
When I mentioned Rethink, because I think, so there's the rebuild on the tech side. There's the redesign. That's the bar's moving up and it needs to look good. Then there's the Rethink. I think we're seeing a lot of companies wondering if what they have built solves the problem they're trying to solve, or if that problem even needs solving. And it seems like more of that keeps surfacing as well. And I think that seems to be something that's transitioning into 2020. That rethink. And I think there's a couple different ways that we get involved in this. There's the owning the process. We come in as a fresh set of eyes, own the process, walk through using our process to get a product out there that's focused on answering that critical question or providing that top tier user experience. But then there's also, since apps have existed for a while, there's also a lot of places that have existing teams.
They need someone to integrate.
Existing processes. And we have a couple options for that. But I mean, we
integrating with integrating our team with their existing team, and that might just be because they need a feature that maybe they have a marketing launch or a specific date that they need something released by, and they need our help to help release it quicker. So it could just be speed, it could be adding capability, multitude of reasons, but we might just integrate with their team to work on the application or the.
And we have a number of different ways, or I should say a number of different experiences in our past that have worked. We have you carve out a backlog, you hire us, we come in, we own that, we deliver it, working with your team. Then there's also another way, it's our on-site group, where we work with the company, find the talent that they need, figure out what the right fit is, what they're looking for in that person, both skill set and type of person that they're looking for. And we help them integrate into that company. Right. So they are sitting in your area with your team, a functional part of your team, and we've seen a lot of success doing that in growing teams and just increasing productivity quite a bit for clients.
Yeah, and our experience, I feel like, from many years now, working on distributed teams and even working on projects that are out of state and across time zones even sometimes, that experience lends into being able to just integrate into an existing team and get work done and do it very well. There's some friction sometimes, when you're trying to integrate, but I think just that experience we've had doing it for so long had made this, I think 2019 was very successful with that, and we look forward to 2020, continue to integrate with companies as well on distributed teams.
So these rethink, rebuild, redesign, oftentimes they're harder than the first go round, because you could be unraveling several things. You might be looking at a different business process, but they're monumental tasks in and of themselves. And then you add in accessibility. We see that being a very big trend, a proper trend going into 2020. Software should be for everybody, accessible to everybody, and solving everyone's problems. And so it's encouraging that is gaining more momentum. You're seeing Apple talk about it. You're seeing Google talk about it.
Customers are asking us about it.
Right. I assume that every single time.
Even way before we start building anything.
Customers are asking right up front. It's interesting. I think that part of that probably has to do with the fact that Apple is focused on that. Before it was hidden in a menu system, and now they have commercials for it, which is which is really great. I think it's pushing a lot of companies to make sure their software is for everybody.
Yeah. And it's like even Apple, Google, and now we talk about even in the design phase, just from the get-go, not thinking of like you build an app and then you add accessibility later. It's like building it in from the very beginning. It's part of the design. It's not something different. It's part of the entire experience.
That's where that Rethink comes in. It's a different process, and quite honestly, that's where having a partner does help.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be fresh set of eyes or expertise or bandwidth. But you know, Mary, you were talking to me about as we were preparing for the show. We do a lot of prep. It may not seem like it, but a lot of prep. And we were talking about innovation groups.
Yes.
We've heard of them before.
They're not new.
Yeah.
But we have had a lot of innovation groups come to us this past year, quite a few. But it would be a smaller group within typically a larger organization, but they're trying to get an idea, have an idea come to life, or several ideas, I should say, come to life. And oftentimes they need a partner to help frankly just get started. So they need to partner with someone to maybe help with their idea to have it come to life quicker. And maybe they're not ready for a full custom build. Like maybe they just need something smaller to get them started. So that's where what we've seen this past year, I'd say.
Well, so you mentioned innovation groups. They're not new. I think they're hitting that maturity level where it is time to build something.
Yeah.
Which is great. We love talking to them. We love that forward thinking type group, and it has historically been difficult to go in and say, okay, you want to do this and you want to show a quick win, right? That's what innovation's about. Test something out, prove it out, or pivot.
Validate an idea.
And doing a full scale investment is just not possible. And you mentioned GetStarted.
I did. I used the buzzword on purpose.
No, that's fantastic, because we were trying to figure out, how do we help our clients? How do we help potential sales leads? How do we help them get started? Because these big engagements, they're just not a reality right away. And so we have created GetStarted engagements. They weren't really creative. We've been doing this a while, but I think we're starting to kind of tighten the communication around it, trying to make sure people know that when they're ready, when they're at that maturity, they've got all these different ideas, and they do need to get started with something, that we have these engagements. First one being design sprints.
Yeah, design sprints have been tremendously successful for many of our clients. It's a week-long engagement. It's a series of very structured activities designed to define a problem and test a testable solution, and then prototype and test that solution potentially. So you would have a full prototype with user feedback, all of these structured activities just in 1 week.
We've seen amazing response.
I mean, the client feedback
clients.
has been excellent. And regardless of the user feedback, I really think it's a win-win, because whether it's that you have really positive feedback about whatever this idea is that we're testing for you, great, maybe we do another engagement, maybe we start the custom build, or if it's unfavorable feedback or more critical feedback, then maybe it's, okay, let's pivot a different idea. Let's try something else. And then you're not wasting so much time and money to start with, just a custom build right off the bat.
And the great thing is, this isn't something we created, right? This is the Google design sprints. So if you're hearing this and saying, wow, design sprint sounds familiar, it's because it is.
Right.
Our team members went through a certification process. Yes. We've done several of these at this point. They are a lot of work. They're very time consuming.
And very fun.
Yeah. They are very fun.
Amazing.
Yes, it's our clients that have gone through this are buzzing. Some have moved on to work on that product that was defined in there, and some have not. And that's a good outcome too, because you're not spending your time, energy, and valuable dollars on something that just will not work.
Exactly.
Just have 1 week, and
1 week with Tobi.
So much gets accomplished in that week. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So now on to the next one, which is kind of a step further. It's its own thing, but it can be that next level, and that's the discovery phase, right? Where design sprints, they're short, They're laser focused 1 week. The discovery engagement is much longer. It's a iterative process that is designed to provide clarity to an idea. So through research, conversations, identifying and understanding users, looking at business goals, and prototyping, it's trying to reduce the uncertainty around an idea, so that way when it is time, you're building the right product.
Exactly.
You're not just investing in something that you hope will be good. And where design sprints, again, is short, laser focused on a problem, that discovery engagement really is building that product and building the right product, which has been, I honestly think it's essential to any single thing you do in software. Probably even building a hardware product for that matter, right? It is that key thing to get off on the right foot. And if you're not doing that, it's unfortunate.
It's gonna be a rough ride.
Yeah, way of putting it. Then the last one, as mentioned, we have three. At least we have three today. Right? That could change in the future. Proof of technology.
Yeah, this is a fun one. And so we've all been there when you have a problem that you don't even know if it's possible to solve it. So the proof of technology engagement is an 8-week engagement that allows us to partner with a client to explore a problem, see, is it even possible to solve it? Is it the right technology to solve it? Is it scalable this way? And at the end of those 8 weeks, you come out with a problem that is either solved with a demo or a documentation showing recommendations of where to pivot. And we've seen like the end results being so amazing of something that initially at the beginning sounded like an impossible problem.
I love, because I'm typically the outsider on this, where coming in and I hear the client's problem and I'm thinking about this going, oh man. Or if I hear the client's idea, I'm going, I don't know how that's going to happen.
And then you see our team and they're like so geeked out and excited.
Oh, they're so excited. And the amount of effort that goes in, the amount of documentation, the trial, the error throughout the whole thing. Each week the client is seeing something good, bad, or indifferent, because sometimes it's proving out that it can't work.
It's not like
it's not there yet.
Yeah, it's not like we're going to the dark for 8 weeks and then at the end just say voila. It's like
surprise.
Every week you know where this is going.
Right.
I come into that final demo sometimes, and I mean, the team members that have worked on this in the past probably get annoyed by me, where I walk around and I love seeing the final demo with the client. I love walking and seeing the final demos that are around the office. I don't know, talking about it probably ad nauseum. It's fun.
It's a lot of fun.
So those are our 3 get started engagements: design sprint, short, laser focused on a problem; discovery, much larger, bringing clarity to the right product to build; and then proof of technology, proving out those wild ideas. Does the technology exist? And those are the 3 we have today. Right? There's always an opportunity for more as we continue to talk to our clients and figure out, what is it that they need for that first step. Right? That first step is scary.
Customize.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
it's all about problem solving.
It's all about problem solving.
People solving problems for people, Tobi. That's from something. I didn't make it up.
That's a good quote.
Yeah, well, I
made
made
it.
Yeah, I made it up. I didn't. But this kind of brings me, get started. I think it's good because it's December 13th right now, David? 12th.
Oof. Living in the future, Dane.
I'm always one step ahead, Tobi. One day ahead. Anyways, it's December 12th. We're wrapping up the year, and we're going into the new year. And Get Started is very good to go into the new year, right? It's Get Started in the new year. And normally the first part of that new year in the technology world is CES, the Consumer Electronics Show.
We'll be there.
We will be there. We will be in Las Vegas. Myself, Tobi, Mary, Jackie, and Billy. I think that's it. I'm looking for Billy to nod if that's it. And Paul will be joining us for a day. And it will be exciting because we're going to be wandering around. We're looking forward to seeing Ford speak, which is great. One of our partners. Yep. We're looking forward to see Delta, the first commercial airline company, speak at CES. That's going to be fantastic. And we're going to be looking to talk to people about getting started. Yeah. Everyone's a buzz at CES about the new year. And these seem very apropos.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
They have ideas.
Define.
Get started.
Stop it, Mary. So it's apropos that at the beginning of the year at CES, and the fact that these are Get Started, you're getting started on your new year, your new ideas, nice, fresh start. David, we said that Get Started a lot of times.
You did.
It's supposed to be subliminal, like, now you'll remember it.
Get started.
I didn't even notice.
You remembered it. You walked away and you didn't even know. So huge thank you to Mary for joining us today.
You're
We
welcome.
appreciate
Thank you
for
for
this
having me.
round table.
Thank
Did you
you.
enjoy your time here?
I did.
Okay.
And I would like to wish you the best of luck this weekend in fantasy.
Oh yeah,
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So that's my closing argument.
Yeah.
Do we want to take a question?
We
Oh,
have. Wait a
yes,
minute. We have a
please.
question.
Yeah.
Ah.
We
did.
sounded way too excited for that.
There we go.
Finally.
It was a bit much. Sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
So a viewer asked what the team thinks about platforms like Flutter, which is are you familiar with?
Yeah.
That can be used to publish the same project to multiple platforms.
That's a great question. I'll take that.
I hope so.
Great.
So I've experimented a lot with platforms like React Native and Flutter. And in some specific scenarios, they happen to solve the problem. When the apps are simple and it's very straightforward, but then eventually when you're building a long-term project, there's a lot of complexity. Let's say you want to use a lot of the hardware of the actual phone. You run into some issues, some plumbing, and where you now need experience not just on the cross-platform solution, but also iOS deep experience and Android, and then the bridging between both. So it always usually comes down to the specific scenario. It's like having tools in a toolbox. In some cases it will work, in other cases it wouldn't work. So we have all this in mind when we talk to our clients, and we try to give the best solution and the most cost-effective solution for our clients.
That's well answered. Was that the only one?
Well done.
That was the only one.
Ah.
We'll take one.
Is there another question that says?
So am I the winner for getting the question on my
Oh,
episode?
you are.
I don't know.
You are. And then
Told
you
me
win
answer.
again this weekend when you.
But
Yeah.
it was my episode.
So yes, Mary and I are in the playoffs,
We are.
the
Wow.
semifinals for
Semifinals.
fantasy football,
There's
playing
only
against
4 of
each
us
other.
left.
And I was
Just-
hoping Lamar Jackson was not going to play.
But he is.
But he is, and that's unfortunate.
Yes.
Also, Paul and Will are in the finals as well. I started 0-5, came roaring back into the finals.
Impressive, I would say.
Mary beat me once already.
And we'll beat
She
you
liked
again
to
this
point
week.
that out, but I
I
only
did
have
point
2
that out.
players still on my team from that game. So I'd like
Well,
to point that out.
I don't know. I'm doing pretty good, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm rooting for
Actually,
you.
Mary
Thank
is
you.
doing
Most
pretty
people
good.
are
I'm
rooting
actually
for
quite
me.
concerned. I'm pretty sure she's going to win. Anyways, Mary, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for
Lots
having
of
me.
behind the scenes work that goes into this, social, preparing, Dave asking us one question, which
Is that
is
enough?
appreciative, who did nothing else. It's awesome. A couple folks here in the audience, which is always fun. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified for when we go live again, or even just when we upload again. We will be off for a couple weeks.
Oh, yes.
Right, because we have the holidays,
Yep.
we have the New Year,
Wow.
we have it comes
It's
right after. It
exciting.
comes right after the
Yeah.
holidays.
Yeah.
It's January 1st, and then we have
The year is over.
that was the whole point of the show, and then we have CES. We have CES after that. So the next time we will be back is June 23rd. So if you're saying to yourself, "I miss Labs Live," you can go to YouTube and watch all the reruns and share with your friends, because we do appreciate that. Have a
Follow us
great
on the social.
what?
Follow us on the social if you missed the show.
Yeah, that's true. We have Twitter. We have LinkedIn. We have Instagram, Facebook.
Everywhere.
I think Facebook.
Yeah. Soon
Yeah.
to TikTok. but
Yeah.
yeah.
Toby will be on TikTok. Have a great holiday. We will see you back in 2020. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Wow. Awesome.
I nailed it.